He wanted her participation, and she was more interested in the Cossack hat and in this costume and that costume and this costume. And so he was very lonely during the filming of this, and he saw the film slip away from him as a film and become a tableau. That was really the most terrible time of my mother actually negating her relationship with Joe.
Von Sternberg's last film with Dietrich, The Devil is a Woman, was both an artistic summation of their partnership and a personal farewell. Once again, she was to play the femme fatale, sadistically tormenting her lovers.
He said to her, "I will show you. You will be more beautiful in this film than you have ever been, and this is my last gift to you." He said it to her. And she didn't say, as perhaps a normal woman might say under the circumstances, "You've given me more than a beautiful face. Why are you saying goodbye? Have I hurt you that much?" Or put her arms around him. She said, "Oh, let's see the brushes." And he was right. It is the face that Dietrich fell in love with. It is her favorite image of herself. And for the rest of her life, it was that image that imprinted itself into her brain of that face of the devil as a woman, and that she always tried to copy.
Let me go. Don't you touch me, or I call for help.
Are you mad, Concha? I came here as a friend. Suddenly you throw yourself into my arms, and now you accuse me.
I kissed you because I loved you. For a minute.
You can't go much farther than that in the idea of the femme fatale and all the ramifications of it, and the fact that many people commented that it was a kind of a reflection of his own life with Miss Dietrich, which I think in many ways it was. I think the Lionel Atwill character, even physically, resembles Joe.
Come on, you're going with me. I'm not going to hurt you, but come on.
I'm not going to leave here, and you're not going to touch me. Don't you dare advance another step.
Well, what have you to say? Invent something. Defend yourself. Lie some more. You lie so well.
First, I want to know what you mean by breaking in here like an assassin and causing this utterly ridiculous scene.
She told me that on the last day of shooting, at the very end, he said, "Okay, boys, that wraps it up." And she said, after this long association, both personally and as an actress, she said, he turned on his heel and walked off the set. He didn't say one word to me. And she said, I was very, very, very hurt by that. Now, obviously, they became friends again and everything, but you get the impression from reading her daughter's book that he really was in love with her, and she couldn't fulfill his expectations, which you can also figure out when you read that book.
He was always in love with her. I don't think he ever stopped loving her. I say this with apologies to his wife, but that was a unique kind of love. And it was also, I think, in Joe's case, a unique kind of regret. And I think his tragedy was always that after Dietrich, he did not make a great film. And people believe, therefore, that only with Dietrich could von Sternberg make a von Sternberg film, and that is not true. I think Dietrich broke him to the point, and the public, and the publicity, and the world, and the Times changed as well. The concept of film changed so radically that his quality of film became outmoded at a time when other people hooked it on to his leaving Dietrich.
He never seemed to regain a total footing again. I do think that the Shanghai Gesture is an extraordinary film. I think you have to be completely on the Sternberg wavelength to appreciate it. Otherwise, it probably seems a rather silly film. I think it's a wonderful film. And he just never, you know, possibly the most interesting film of all would have been the unfinished film of I, Claudius.
These rushes are all that survived from the filming of I, Claudius, an epic based on the Robert Graves novels and produced by Alexander Korda. Officially, the film was abandoned because its female star, Merle Oberon, suffered facial injuries in a car crash. But the production was troubled from the beginning, since Charles Laughton found great difficulties with his role as the Emperor Claudius.
My Lord Sentius, I did not know you could also stutter. I thought your talents were confined to neighing like a horse. Is there anyone else who wishes to call attention to my misfortunes? That's the broadest East End Cockney I've ever heard in my life.
Actually, it was quite a disappointment to me because I thought that Claudius would have made a very fine film. And I was rather sorry that actors had truncated my film.
Despite several attempts to recreate the image of an ideal woman, von Sternberg would never entirely escape the spectre of Dietrich's iconic presence. This quest was apparent even in his very last film, The Saga of Anatahan, made in Japan in 1953. Shot entirely within a studio, it was the ultimate realization of von Sternberg's passion for artifice. The film tells the true story of Japanese sailors marooned on a desert island during World War II.
That's how we met Keiko. At first, she was only another fellow human being stranded on this pinpoint on the map. Then she was to become a female to us. And finally, a woman, the only woman on Earth.
More than anything, my father wanted to express everything that he had never expressed before and what he understood to be the weaknesses and strengths of the human character. And he worked on Anatahan for about a year in Japan with a Japanese crew and cast. He had 2 interpreters, but in order to convey his ideas to the cast and crew more clearly, he made charts of the emotional flow and subject matter within the film.
When I asked him why he'd gone all the way to Japan, you know, to make a picture that he shot entirely in a sound studio, he said, you know, he said, because I'm an artist. And then I said, well, how do you like that film? That's Anatahan, which turned out to be his last film, right? He said, well, the only thing I didn't like, he said, was the shots of the ocean, the sea. And I said, why? And he said, because they were real. Well, that's Joe.
This dancing isn't right. I wish you'd stop. I mean, you've taken enough.
I thought after I...
All right, take it. And move slowly from right to left, and your face should be reasonably pleasant. But shoot it. The hot light should be on the chin. She should not wear a black dress because I take a spray gun and I would spray that with aluminum. That is not photographic. She should wear a light dress. But in general, there's your scene. Now let's go home, huh?